In this Cogniflow review, I'm going to show you everything you need to know about this AI tool. If you have any questions, please comment them below, and I'll also leave a discounted link so you can always get your money's worth for Cogniflow. Cogniflow lets you build no-code AI models to boost productivity on any budget. Once we log in, we come over here to the dashboard. As we can see, we've got a few sections, all, text, image, and audio. And right here, this has got our experiment section. So first, I'm just going to go ahead and create our first AI. Now we can select from an image-based experiment, a text-based experiment, or an audio-based experiment. Below there for each one, we also have an inspiration tab. So we could see sample image experiments. So if I click onto there, as we can see, this has got a few different examples. We've got a translation, English to Spanish, written language identification, written offensive language identification, and more. So I'm going to go ahead and go for this one. Now we can choose from image classification, which creates an experiment that uses photos, images, or graphs as input to learn how to classify them, or object detection, create an experiment that uses photos, images, or graphs as input to learn how to locate and categorize different types of objects in them. So I'm going to go for create experiment. So I've uploaded a representative image there. Then I'm going to set the experiment name and then set the description. And then here, this takes us over to the dataset section, where you can upload a dataset zip file. Now, I don't have one of these, so I'm just going to download an example, and then I've dragged that into there. There is also an advanced options section where you can upload a custom validation dataset, but I'm just going to leave that for now. And then if we go on next step, we can then configure this. As it says, the experiment is ready to run. Running the experiment trains your ML models dependent on the size of your sets. Experiment configuration, place in waiting queue. This process may take several hours. If we click on advanced options here, we can see we've got all the pre-processing, random rotation, vertical flip, random zoom, random brightness, horizontal flip. We've got the vectorizer, and we have an array of options we can tick there, as well as classifiers and metric to optimize. So I'm going to go ahead and click on create and run experiment. So as it said earlier, this can take a couple of hours until it's fully complete. So I'm not going to go through the finished model today, as I've just used this as an example. But if you follow this along and after a few hours, your experiment will be completed. If we go back onto experiments, we can see it shows up here and it's currently listed as waiting. Now, if you had an array of different experiments, you could search here in the search box. You could also set the visibility from my experiments to public experiments, and also sort it by most recent or oldest. This is obviously set to all, but you also have text, image, and audio. If you wanted to create a different type of experiment or AI, we can go on here and you could then select text-based, choose between text classification or knowledge-based for questions and answering. Again, drag in an image, set the experiment name and description, upload your dataset and configure. And this is the same for text, image, and audio. As well as this, it's worth noting, if we click onto the experiment, and this brings us over to this section here, as we can see, we've got our trained models, where it's got the model name, our accuracy score, the average interference time, and then we can also click on the arrow, which has view model details, where we can view metrics, configuration, reprocessing, and the log. You can also download this log as well. As they say here, they've got 8 other models, so you can try another model. As we can see, the different models show up here. Next to train models, we have dataset, where we can download the training set zip. This is what we downloaded earlier, and its content has got cats and dogs, 50% and 50%. We also have the validations examples as well. You can download that validation set zip. Next to that, we also have details, and that's just got our description that we added earlier. And that's just about everything. So what are my thoughts on Cogniflow? Well, Cogniflow was a fantastic tool for building AI without any coding experience. I think it's great how you could choose from text, audio, and image experiments. It also had a wide array of different guides and tutorials. My knowledge, however, is very limited in this field, so there's only so much I could show you. Regardless, for those that are interested in building AI, I would definitely recommend. Thanks very much, and I'll see you next time.